So my name is Jonathon Ilett. I am the Sales Director at Cognism. I think a Sales Director varies from company to company in terms of the roles and responsibilities, but at Cognism my responsibility is to make sure that there's support in place and also strategies in place to ensure we hit our ambitious growth targets. In terms of the day-to-day responsibilities, it's managing the account executive team, which is the closing team, and it really is just making sure that they've got the support they need and also the training infrastructure to develop as professionals. So I was fortunate enough to start my career at Cognism as a SDR, and then transitioned into a closing role and into a senior business development role, which was fundamentally just looking after the newest intake of the sales team. And as the team's grown, there was a requirement for someone to actually step up and actually manage the entire pod of 10 account executives. So when the opportunity arose, I thought I had the skill set and just applied. So the first challenge is making sure that everyone in the team feels valued. So especially as a high performing team, the majority of the people in the account executive team were the top performers in the SDR function. So as the team grows, obviously there's going to be a finite number of opportunities that present itself. So it's just making sure that the middle of the pack people know their value in the company, they know the success that they're bringing, and obviously on an individual basis, that varies person to person, and that kind of swings into my second point, which is motivation. So looking at the team today, multiple people motivated by different things, so some monetary, some praise, very generic, but yeah, so you got to identify what makes people tick, and especially in a role like ours, it's a very short sales cycle, so making sure they're constantly on the ball, and that comes down to motivating the team. The third one is admin. So as a salesperson myself, I used to hate having to do admin, and now I've moved into a more managerial role. That's fundamentally where we make our decisions from, is from the data. So making sure that the team knows the value of what they're inputting and why that's going to impact the business decisions moving forward. So yeah, just making sure they buy into why they're inputting that and what impact that's going to have on their pipeline and also the opportunities moving forward. So I think the first skill is being able to incorporate feedback into our kind of strategy moving forward. So prior to this, when I first started, it was very much me just making the decisions, and as time's developed, I think just taking feedback from the team in terms of what's working well, what's not working, and then coming to a general consensus collectively as a team as to how we can refine and make things better. That's made a much better process, and also it's made sure that the team's actually bought into the decisions that we're making. The second skill is just being much more aware of how my emotions impact the team. I know from one-to-ones it's very apparent when one individual is having a bad day and the implications that has on the other team's performance. So it's made me reflect on how me as a leader, I need to make sure that I'm always setting the best example for the team. I think prior to this, when I was in a closing role, it was very much just me. Now it's very much making sure that the team are happy and also ensuring that they set a precedent as to how they should act generally across the organisation. It really depends on your individual circumstances. If you are a salesperson currently at the moment, I think it's very important to identify whether you want to stay in a closing role or whether you actually want to start managing a team, because it depends what motivates you. If it's motivation from individual success, then it's probably best staying in the closing role. Whereas if you get greater satisfaction from making sure that your team's performing, that your team's happy and you're watching them grow as professionals, then that's probably the correct route to go down. I don't necessarily think just because you're an amazing salesperson, you'll be an amazing sales director. It comes to a different skill set of motivation, making sure the team's happy, and also that you've got kind of a process mindset. So I think I kind of touched on this on the previous question, but I think for me it's really seeing the team develop as professionals. A lot of the people that we've taken in have come straight out of university, gone into the SDR role and then moved into an account executive role. So it's really watching them develop and seeing them succeed, and I think that's what gets me up in the morning.